What are the keys for having a successful business? Hi y'all, thanks so much for joining me. In less than 15 minutes, I'll be sharing with you 4 of the key things that you're going to need in your business to continue to be successful. So please like and share this video if you get value from it. And if you're listening to it on the replay, type #replay. Really appreciate your support. I'm Dr. P. I'm a strategic business coach, a business school psychologist for about 10 years in K-12 schools, served on professional organization committees, taught online psychology graduate courses, and an advisor for cadet learning. And today's topic, we're talking about keys for success. There's so many keys for success. There really are, especially in business. Not just in business, but also in business and in life. But today I want to talk about 4 of them. Not talking about all of them, but I'm going to talk about 4 of them. So have you ever given it some thought about what are the keys for success for your business? When you started your business, right, did you think about what you needed to actually make it to your 3rd year, your 5th year, your 10th year, or even your 15th year in business? Because there are certain key things that every business needs, and it doesn't matter the stage your business is at. These 4 things I'm going to be talking about, every business needs them. It doesn't matter if you are a micro business or a small business or even a medium or large business. Every business needs these 4 things that I'm going to be talking about today. So a big part of my day today really, was spent talking about these elements. And that's why I really wanted to do a video about it today, because they're really important. And talking to people, different types of businesses, and these things were coming up. And I was like, you know what? I really should do a live about this today. So that's why I decided, like I said, to share this today. So I hope we're still live on Facebook, because giving me some issues over here. But I hope we're still going live. If not, it'll probably just stop on me. Anyway, show is still going to go on whether or not Facebook is working. You're still live on Instagram. So these 4 things I'm going to be talking about. I wanted you to think back about your business. Doesn't matter if you're in year 1, year 5, year 10, year 12. What I'm talking about is, think about when you started your business. You had that courage to start a business. You know, maybe you're the only person in your network, in your family, who started a business. You know, maybe you're the only person who was in your class at school that started a business. The point is, you had courage to start your own business. And you heard me right. You had the courage to start your own business. And that's awesome. You should give yourself credit for that. And it, like I said, it doesn't matter if you started yesterday, today, 2 years ago, 7 years ago, 12 years ago. The point is, you had the courage to start your own business. And that is absolutely amazing, because you found that courage. Give yourself a pat on that. Celebrate it. You must celebrate it. And I'm sure that when you made that decision to start your business, you decided that you started it because there was a problem out there that you believed that you could solve. And that's why you started your business, right? Because you knew you could solve that problem with your business, right? So thinking about that, what was your reason for wanting to solve that problem? You know, just think about it. You knew there was a problem. You knew you wanted to solve it. But what really was your reason for wanting to solve it? You know, because it had to have been some specific problem, because you started your business, right? So you identified a specific problem that you believe your business could actually help people with. So focusing on that, once you were able to identify the problem that you were going to be solving for people, did you know if you were solving it by offering a product or a service? In other words, did you know what you were going to be selling to people, is what I'm trying to get at here. Because you knew you were going to be solving a problem, but did you know what you were going to be selling to people to help solve that problem? Or was it that you didn't even think about that, and then you just ran out and got a logo designed so that you can have some business cards and start handing them out to people because you figured that was the best next step for you to be taking? I'm really hoping that you didn't go the business card route, and especially if you didn't go and give them out to every single person, because everyone is not a customer for your business. Everyone is not a part of your ideal audience for your business. They're really not. But in case you did do that business card thing, I'm guessing that after you gave out all those business cards, you took some time to sit and really go over your system for how successful that business card strategy was for you, and gave yourself some time to really analyze how that went. You ain't got 250 business cards, you gave them all out, you're so happy about it, but what happened as a result? What happened after you gave out those business cards? Did you sit and look at what happened? And I hope you did. I really hope you did. But if you didn't, did you decide that after the business cards, that next thing for you was to start calling up a bunch of people, or emailing a bunch of people, or throwing money at marketing companies? And if so, how did that work out for you, right? How did that work out for you? I'm guessing that frustration may be the feeling that really came to mind when you were going through those situations, right? Because you knew you have a problem, you have a solution to solve a problem for people. You decided to go get business cards, you pass all those out, then you're calling, emailing, doing all this marketing. That sounds great at the time for you, but what did it truly do for your business? Did it really help your business? Or is it that you're just sitting and feeling really frustrated? Maybe you hit a rut in your business and you did go out and do all those things if you're in year 5 or 7. Point is, how is that working out for you? Are you feeling frustrated? And it doesn't matter how old your business is. If you're feeling frustrated with the amount of money that you're just spending and the lack of income that you're getting in return, I really encourage you to sit and look to see if you have these 4 key things in your business right now. Because if you don't, then that's probably why you're experiencing the frustration that you're experiencing, right? So let's just jump in and talk about these 4 key things. So the first one I want to talk about is the who. And for every business, we have to decide who we're going to be selling to. We have to decide who our target audience is. We might have heard people talk, especially people in sales, talk about know your avatar type situation. Know that person that you are wanting to sell to. Think about that person. Think about all these different qualities that person has, because that's your ideal audience. That's your target market. Because the reason why this is important is because once you can identify that who, then you're in a better position of knowing where to go and find that who, so that you can actually share about your business with your target audience. So that's the first thing, the who. The second thing is the what. So remember, you have this problem that you want to solve, which is great, and you have this thing that you're going to use to help people solve their problems, which is great. But you got to ask yourself, are you selling a product or are you selling a service? If you had 30 or 60 seconds to pitch to somebody what your business was all about, what would you be telling them about? Would you tell them about a product, or would you be telling them about a service? You got to figure out what it is you're actually selling. And once you're clear on that, then people have a better idea of what you're offering, right? And they are more likely to be intrigued, have that curiosity, have that follow-up conversation. So you do have to know the difference between if you're selling a product or if you're selling a service. Hey, you might even be selling both. Point is, you have to be able to identify what it is that you are selling in your business. And it's not just for elevator pitches, as people call them, but it's also for when you're in conversation with others. Because conversations happen at any point in time, and it naturally flows out what you do. So if you're clear on what you do, what started off as just a random conversation might actually lead to you getting an actual client in that person, or that person might refer you to somebody who might become an actual client or customer for you. So be clear on if you're selling a product or if you're selling a service. And it also helps with your social media as well. And third thing is the how part of your business. So this has to do a lot with the goals and the direction that you have for your business, or that you want to have for your business. It also has to do with your budget, because you do have to know how you're going to be spending this money and how you're expecting to get this money back. But connected to that are your goals for your business. And I'm talking about using SMART goals. You have to have SMART goals, because when you have SMART goals, you're having this clear direction for where you want to be taking your business. And it helps with creating an action plan. It helps with creating a strategic plan for your business, right? Helps with a business plan as well. So understanding that how part of your business. So we talked about the who part, we talked about the what part, we talked about the how part. Now brings me to the fourth key thing that you should be having. And that fourth thing is the when in your business. So in every industry, things are always changing, right? New things are coming out, new products, new services are coming out. People are being bombarded with a lot of different things, regardless of whatever industry you're in. Your customers are being bombarded with a lot of different things. So you do have to be able to keep up. And also internally for your business, you have things that you are doing, and you have to be able to recognize when you've actually accomplished those things that you set out to do. And when you have accomplished them, then what is going to happen next? And if you haven't accomplished them, then what are you going to be, changing? What are you going to be adding? What are you going to be taking away? So that when part has to do with your metrics. Whatever your business is, you have to be able to identify metrics. And I'm talking about the things you're going to be using to determine whether or not you're being successful in your business. You have to identify them. Take some time in your schedule, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. You need to have some time in your schedule where you actually review your metrics to see how you're doing and to see if that point in time is the when for you to be making a big change. Whether it's adding, whether it's taking away, whether it's revising. You have to know when to make changes in your business. And like I said, it doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't matter the size of your business. You have to know the who of your business, the what of your business, the how of your business, and the when of your business. We do have a planning guide where I go over these 4 things in that planning guide. And you can download it by clicking on the link that is in the description for this video, whether it's above or below this video, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, it is in the description for the podcast, sorry. So that planning guide, like I said, goes into some more detail about these 4 key things that you can have in your business so that you can be successful. You might have 3 out of the 4, right? And you might be wondering how you can take your business to the next level. You're missing that 4th one. You can find that information in our planning guide. And then at the end, you do get something out of downloading the planning guide. So once you download it, you'll see what's waiting for you at the end of the planning guide. Thank you so very much for joining me. I'm Dr. Priscilla Kuser with Priscilla Kuser Consulting Solutions. Remember, solutions plus actions equals results. Bye, y'all.